Hey everybody, Marissa here. So I wanted to talk to you today about something that I actually just figured out last week about exercise. And it turns out it's quite important. So I'm thinking it might be worthwhile to share with everybody. So for those that know me, sorry, a little itchy, my husband, despite being fantastic when it comes to exercise, he is not. Both myself and his mother are personal trainers, and yet, no matter what, he doesn't exercise. Just not into it no matter what we do. I've been with him 9 years, still can't make it happen. But, anyways, last week, though, we were talking about it, and he said something to me that just never really occurred to me. So he was commenting about why he never exercises more than 2 times, and why when he starts something new, he stops, like after 2 times. And he said it's because it never gets easier. So I had a big laugh there. I thought that was really funny, and I'm like, yeah, no kidding, exercise doesn't get easier. It's not supposed to. It's supposed to challenge you. That's why people don't like it. That's why people don't do it. Like, this is a silly reason not to do it. Anyways, we talked about that for a bit. We moved on, whatever. Then, a couple days later, a client of mine made a comment to me about his exercises being harder, his whole workouts being harder. He wasn't complaining, unlike Mitch. He was more just commenting. And that kind of sparked this, like, poof, light bulb moment in my mind, where I'm like, okay, I know that as a trainer, when exercises get easier, it is time to make them harder. If you want to be challenged, if you want that change. Whereas a normal person, or my clients, for example, probably don't know this. So when they see exercises getting harder, some of them actually get more discouraged. They think that instead of progressing, they're regressing. And that's totally not the case. So I was just like, wow, if 2 people in 1 week mentioned this to me, how many other people out there actually feel the same way? So this really just inspired this video. So I hope this video is going to help you understand why exercise should be always hard and not easy. Sorry, guys. But I'm sure you've heard different expressions. Something like, if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. That's personally my favorite. Other ones like, don't stop when you're tired, stop when you're done. Or, nobody said it would be easy, they said it would be worth it. So these are all basically talking about exactly what I was saying. And there's a ton more expressions out there like this as well. These are just the 3 I picked. So basically, as humans, we are super good at adapting to new stimuli when it's regularly in our environment. No surprise, it's no different with our muscles. When the same force is being applied for the same duration, same movement, same tempo, which I'll explain in a bit, for an extended period of time, your body ends up building a sort of like resistance to it, a tolerance, otherwise known as your body adapts to it. So if ever you've worked with a personal trainer, they normally change your programs 4 to 6 weeks. That is because after 4 to 6 weeks, your body usually gets used to the whole program and it's time to change it. Otherwise, it will just adapt to it and you're not going to progress, not get stronger, not, see results. So your body can adapt to really anything. We're so awesome like that. So the same weight for an exercise, the same exercises, or the same tempo. So the other thing is also, if you do cardio and you don't do strength, or you do strength and you don't do cardio, your body's basically just going to get used to it. So just like everything else in the world, practice makes perfect. So the more you do it, the better you get at it. And once you get super good at it, we gotta make it even harder. So if you continue once it gets easy, you're no longer gonna really see those changes. You're no longer gonna get the benefits that you should be getting from doing exercise. Like, yes, you'll still be exercising, but you can get so much more than what you'll be doing. So it's kind of similar, I find, to what I've heard about people when they retire. I've heard a lot about people are scared to stop working because they think once they stop working, they're going to stop using their brains as much and they'll start losing it a little bit, because if you don't use it, you lose it. It's kind of the same thing with exercise. you always want to keep your body challenged so that you don't lose it. If you're not challenging your body, your muscles can go away, your ability to do cardio can decrease. For example, 72 hours after not exercising, your muscles atrophy. So that means like they start dissipating. They get weaker, they go down. So you want to constantly keep them engaged so they keep going up instead of down, you know? So basically, all this to say is if you want to grow, you need to be challenged, both body and mind. So when I see that my clients are able to do the exercises easily, I know that that's time to progress them. They apparently don't know that, but I know that. Something I'm learning right now. So they often think that like they're out of shape and their exercises are for some reason just like, why can't I do this anymore? I was able to do this last week. But no, often it's because I am increasing the intensity in some way and they're not aware of it and it's getting harder. I've actually been accused, for example, of punishing my clients before, which I gotta say I found absolutely hilarious. They didn't, but I did. That obviously caught me off guard because in my mind, I'm helping them. I'm doing everything I can to make them stronger, better, faster, all that kind of stuff. And they're just like, why? Anyways. So different ways to progress exercises are increasing your time. So if, for example, you're used to doing exercises for 30 seconds, try moving it to 40 seconds. If that becomes easy, 50 seconds, then 60 seconds, and so on. Another way of playing with time is, let's say you're doing an AMRAP where you're doing as many rounds as possible in, let's say, 5 minutes. Now move on to 7 minutes or 10 minutes once it gets easier in 5. Another way to do it is increasing your reps. So if you're doing squats, let's say, you're starting off at 10 reps. Once you can get to 10 and it's no longer that challenging, increase it to 12. Once 12 is easy, go to like 14. You know, stuff like that. Just keep making it more. But one thing to keep in mind is if you are using weights and you're easily able to get to 16 reps and it's not that challenging, you should be taking heavier weights instead of increasing the reps more. So basically you don't want to be able to do more than 16 unless it's for a specific reason, but normally you go for less reps and just increase the weight. So this brings me to the next one. You can increase your weight. How convenient, huh? All right, so yeah, if whatever weight you're doing starts getting easier, add more weight. It becomes harder. And don't just stop because it's harder. Keep going. It will eventually get easier. All right, and now this brings me to tempo, which I keep mentioning but not actually explaining. So tempo just basically refers to like how quickly you are doing and releasing the exercise. Basically working with concentric and eccentric movements. So as an example, if you are doing a bicep curl for, let's say, so you're starting off down here, tempo would be counting to 3 seconds to go up, hold it for 2, and release 1. That would be one form of a tempo. Another form would be, let's say, counting 1, 2, hold 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So different ways of changing that will make changes in the body. Also, as a rule, usually going slower is harder. But yeah, so other ways to progress exercises specifically, for example, are, let's say you're doing a push-up. A lot of the time people need to start with push-ups on their knees, and that's totally cool. Once that is easy though, like if you can see you can do 10 reps on your knees, that's when you should be going to your toes. If you can do it for 30 seconds on your knees and it's not super challenging, go to your toes. Another way, let's say with planks. People like doing these challenges of like 5-minute planks, 3-minute planks. One of my clients was so excited she did a 5-minute plank. I'm like, okay, why don't you do a 1-minute plank and make it harder that you can't actually do it for more than 1 minute? And that way that will have so many more benefits than holding a 5-minute easier plank. So that, yeah. Another way, and a way to actually make it harder You can go for alternating leg lifts, where you lift up one leg, then the other. You can bring one leg out to the side, other leg out to the side. You can go from a plank on your hands to a plank on your forearms, back to your hands. There's all different ways to progress them. Another way of progressing exercises is, let's say you do a squat. You hold one weight in your hand. That all of a sudden becomes easy. Yeah, you can up the weight and hold a heavier weight. Let's say you go from a 10 to a 15. Another way would be grab a second weight, and instead of holding one like this, you're holding one in each hand squatting. So there's all different ways to progress exercises. And on that note of progression, something I also want to speak about is regressions. A lot of people feel, like my clients, they feel very bad doing regressions. They don't want to do it, and they feel like they're cheating. So a regression would be, instead of doing a push-up on your toes, you're doing it on your knees. It is not cheating if it is challenging. It's only cheating if it's easy. So if you have, let's say, a shoulder injury and it's too much pressure being on your toes doing a push-up, just do it on your knees. I mean, not if it hurts you, but like, you don't need to be on your toes. You need to do it so that you feel it and that it's challenging. If you can't possibly do a push-up on your toes, you collapse every time with your one rep. Like, no, that's not going to benefit you to keep doing that. You need to start somewhere. So start on your knees. Never feel bad for doing a regression as long as it is challenging. I'm going to say this again for probably the third time. Do not feel bad doing a regression as long as you are being challenged. If it is easy, that's when it's not good, and that's when you are taking the easy way out. Otherwise, it is not cheating. All right? So are we clear? Good. I've had that talk with quite a few people in the past 2 weeks also. That's why I just wanted to emphasize that. So, if you are working with a personal trainer and you find that you're consistently, and you find that your workouts or your exercises are getting harder, please know that most likely what's happening is that person is making things harder and they're not telling you. It's not that you are getting weaker. You are awesome. Just keep that in mind. If, though, you are working with a personal trainer and the workouts are not getting more challenging, it's probably time you should dump that trainer. And if I happen to be that trainer, please let me know first so you don't dump me. I'd like to make changes. But yeah. So whenever you do hire a trainer, by the way, that doesn't mean you have to work with them consistently. Sometimes it's good to just check in with the trainer every month or every 2 months, just to make sure that you're still doing your exercises properly. Maybe there are progression stuff that they can help you with, show you new exercises. Alternatively, trainers can also give you programs where you're just on your own. You can literally speak to a trainer for like 15 minutes whenever you need and get advice. Like, there's really different ways to utilize a trainer, and I really do suggest doing it. Even I wish I had a trainer sometimes. Like, trainers can use trainers. We all need that extra challenge and that extra push. But yeah, all this to say, if your exercises are getting harder and you're doing them consistently, you are likely just progressing, not regressing. All right? Are we clear, people? Very good. Thank you all, and I hope this helped. Have a good day!